That's why you
Mila
trees
Yav.
never grow.
If someone says, I'm giving the value of a palm tree, doesn't he have to pay it? So here he's saying, I'm giving the value of an individual. Shouldn't he have to pay that value? He should have to pay it. Doesn't matter if it's a male or female. Even if it's just a palm tree, he has to pay it. Why do I need a pasuk to tell me I have to give the value of someone that's a tumtum and androgynous? He has value. Amar Rava, we're going to have a discussion soon if it's Rava or Rabba. But Amar Rava, loymar shenidim b'chvaydei. This is coming to tell me that when I say this person, I'm giving his value, it depends what I say. If I say I'm giving the value of the whole person, then of course I have to give the value, because that's just like a palm tree. If I say I'm giving the value of his arm, then I would have to give the value of his arm. It's not Erachin. But if I say I have to give the value of his heart or his head, then I have to pay for the whole person. That's what it means, nidim b'chvaydei. So from now on, we're going to have a new term. We're going to be discussing this term. Just let's define the term. Nidim b'chvaydei, that it's judged according to its weight. That means according to what
because without the head and the
what
heart,
significance it has in the body. Without the head and the heart, it's nothing. So therefore, it's considered like the whole body. So why do I need a pasuk to tell me tumtum and androgynous? It's just like a palm tree. If I pledge the palm tree, I have to pay it.
I know some people function out of brain.
So here,
some people function without a heart.
Here, what we're saying is that even if a person only pledges just one organ, the brain or the heart, I still have to pay that. I have to pay the whole person. Okay.
The thing is with the palm tree is
Too generous.
you cannot make blessing on lulav you take from male, because male don't give fruits. So you have to make sure the palm tree that you get is for females, because the female you get the fruit. Kapot, let's say tamar.
Very interesting.
It's a heart of palms. No, they plant them lechatchila, maybe that's why. Because they take from all the trees. So they plant them all females.
It cannot females.
Because they know they have one
It probably grows back.
No, it doesn't go one next to the other.
That's why they raise these little palm forests.
It never grows back. That's the shot in the Gemara. The Gemara actually says that. I thought the Gemara says that a person the Gemara says that a person planted the palm tree for the fruits. And now he's just taking it away, so therefore hearts and palms should be shahakal. No, we don't do that. We say hadam on it because of these forests that they grow specifically for that. So they've switched it.
That's right. But if you think about that, you apply it to people. You say,
maybe hearts
say I'm going to
meant
give
palms.
the head or the heart. You may as well be saying the whole person,
Right?
Because they can't live.
Right.
without
That's
it.
the pshat. That's what the Gemara means. That nidim b'chvaydai is that you've just said the whole person here, and you judge it according to its significance. That's what we're learning from the pasuk. Sal kedai t'chamina. I could have entered your mind to say neder berchen ksiv, because I put together neder in erachin. Kol sheyeshne berchen nidim b'chvaydai. Anything that has erachin is judged by its significance. If I pledge a heart, that's different than pledging the arm. Kol she'ein berchen nidim b'chvaydai. But if it's not judged by it, if it doesn't have erachin, for example, tumtum and androgynous doesn't have erachin, so then I don't have nidim b'chvaydai. I don't have judging it by significance. If I pledge the heart, I would just give the value of the heart. Maybe that's what I would have thought. There's a little aleph here from the Bach, and it says kamash malan that you do judge it by significance. See that little aleph?
Yeah.
That's the Bach. The Bach and Mayu Kamar is up here.
What
on
do
the
you
top.
mean by significance?
That means that if it's a heart, then it's as if I pledge the whole person. If I say I'm pledging so-and-so's heart, even if he's a tumtum and androgynous, it doesn't have erachin, but I'm pledging the value of his heart, I have to now pay the value of the whole person as a slave. But if I pledge his arm, I only have to give the value of the arm.
So you don't draw different significances between hearts? Because let's say there's somebody...
No, it's the whole person.
No, because someone who needs a heart transplant, who needs
That we
that
don't do.
specific
I look over
heart.
it's 650,000 versus a limb. A kidney is much less like 100,000.
No, but I'm saying if that's the match for that person, it's the That's significance
That's
of
really
that
the
heart
most
is even
value
worth
to pay.
more.
Heart is the
But
Let me go
even
on.
worth
I got
more
it.
for that person.
I hear.
Move on.
Oh, because he
Amalei
needs it.
Abaya.
Because he needs it. Yeah.
Abaya says to him. So far, we're learning that it's Rava. We're going to
prophet
see
goes
later
to
in
the
Taisus, hopefully that it's Rabba. Abaya responds with the Layisi be'erchen minida b'chvaydai, someone that doesn't have erech. Someone that doesn't have erech. Do you judge it by significance? Okay, this Gemara here is going to take us a few minutes, so bear with me. We'll get through this whole Gemara. It's a lengthy discussion. Abaya is responding, someone that doesn't have erech, that doesn't have this sort of pledge where I can pledge his age value. Someone that doesn't have that. Why? Because he's a tumtum and androgynous. Do you say that if I pledge his heart, that's as if I pledge the whole person? You're going to see from a brisa that it doesn't work like that. But we was taught in a brisa. Rosh eved zeh hektish. If someone says that the head of this slave is hektish, that means he didn't say the whole body is hektish. He just sanctified the head of the slave. What's the halacha? Hu v'hektish shutfim bay. He is now a partner with hektish in this slave. Now the head is something that is the whole life, but it's not. But he didn't give the whole thing he didn't give the whole slave to hektish. It's the only part of his partners. Rosh eved macharlach. He says he sells to his friend the head of the slave. Meshamnim beinayim. Then they have to evaluate it between themselves. Rosh chamar zeh hektish. If someone gives the head of he pledges the head of a donkey. Hu v'hektish shutfim bay. So him and hektish are partners now in this donkey. Rosh chamar machalach. If he sells the head, the donkey, meshamnim b'neim, then they evaluate. Meshamnim is the lashon shuma. They evaluate the value of the head. Rosh para machalach. Let's say he says the head of a cow is being sold to you. Over there, he only sold the head. Oh, you see, it's different. A cow, you can buy the head in the marketplace. You buy a head of a cow, you buy it.
Why
So-
Chamo is different? Why is it different?
Over there, you don't sell the normally a head.
It just become chamo.
Loy machel reisha. Loy machel reisha shel para. V'loy oid, but not only this, elafilu reish para, hektish. Even if someone says that I'm giving the head of the cow to hektish, ein lehektish el reisha. Hektish only gets the head. What we're seeing here, what Abaya is trying to prove, is that I don't say that everything becomes hektish because I pledge something that the entire life is dependent on. Why? Because it doesn't have erechin. Only erechin is when I pledge a heart or a head, does the entire person become pledged. V'amar Rav Papa, Rav Papa explains, the hum is dam in reisha turbei tabcha. Why is this? Abaya says, because I can buy the head of a cow in the butcher shop. Now Abaya concludes this question. We see that a donkey and a cow do not have erechin, and we do not evaluate them based on their significance. In other words, because I pledge the head, I don't say, just because I pledge the head, that I've now pledged the whole animal. I haven't done that. I've just pledged the head. Why? Because it doesn't have erechin. So he's arguing on Rabbah that says that by nidarim, when you pledge the heart, it's as if you pledge the whole person. He's arguing on Rabbi. He proves it. So the Gemara responds to Abaya now, Ula taimech, but according to you, tikshilach eved. The Bais said eved. If you pledge the head of a slave, the whole slave is not sanctified. If you sanctify the head of a slave, the whole slave isn't sanctified. And a slave does have erechin. Wow. You can, so you're only looking at part of this. There's obviously something else going on here. It's now you have a whole question. You have a question on this whole subject. We have to answer like this. There's a difference between if you're pledging something for a carbon or if you're pledging it for the temple. Now, the brisa that we're just quoting, that was kachim mizbeach. You're pledging it for a sacrifice. How do you pledge a slave for a sacrifice? I'm saying the head of the slave, the value of the head of the slave should be used for a sacrifice. When it comes to Bedek Habayis, the temple, then I say that if you pledge the head as a gift to the temple, then it's as if you pledge the whole person. But if you're pledging it for the altar, then it's not as if I pledge the whole person. So how do I pledge the head for the altar? I pledge the value of the head to buy a sacrifice with. I didn't pledge the whole person, I only pledged the value of the head. Gemara says, "B'mayu kim to b'kachim mizbeach." You said that we're talking about kachim mizbeach. I'm going to go a little further here. You said that we're talking about a pledge to the altar as a sacrifice. You do not say that it's nidam b'chvaydai, that we look at its significance. Ema seifa, let's look at the end of the Bais of Layoid. It was taught that not only this, that if someone pledges the head of the cow, if someone consecrates, he sanctifies the head of the cow, he's only sanctified the head. Amai, why is that? If he's designating it as a pledge to the altar, then tifshik kedusha bekula. We have a rule that anything that could be brought as a sacrifice, that it's pledged to the temple, it immediately becomes overcome by the significance by the sanctity of a sacrifice, and it's brought as a sacrifice. You can pledge anything you want to the temple, but you can't pledge an animal that could be brought as a sacrifice and let it just remain as a temple pledge. The sanctity of a sacrifice, the kedushas haguf, the internal, the body sanctity overcomes it, as opposed to kedushas damim. So tifshet kedusha bekula. Milay tanya, was it not taught in a brisa? Ha'im raglish shazu Eily. If someone says the foot of this animal should be an Eily, yachal tekula Eily, let the whole thing become an Eily. Talmud lemer kol hashit menel Hashem yakadosh b'mena kadosh v'lei kula kadosh. Only the leg becomes sanctified. If someone says the leg of this animal should be an Eily, a burnt offering, yachal tetzil chulin, maybe okay, maybe just sell it. Talmud lemer yiyah b'havayasitei. No, it says yiyah. You have to keep it as holy. The leg is holy. So what do you have? You have an animal with a holy leg. What do? Kate said, how do you deal with that? What you do is like this. What you do is you sell it to a fellow that needs to bring a sacrifice. He pays you for the whole animal except for the leg. And then all of that money was never sanctified because the animal wasn't sanctified. It was only the leg. So all you have is the value of the animal. You have the value of the animal except for that leg. Rabbi Shimon, I remember Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Shimon, these are all Rabbi Kiva students, they say, how do you know that if someone says the leg of this animal is an Eily, that the whole animal becomes an Eily? The Rabbi says kula. They take the same pasuk and they read it differently. Anything that you pledge from it to be sanctified, it becomes sanctified, not it. Not the pronoun it, the leg. The whole thing becomes sanctified. The pronoun, that ambiguous pronoun, he learns that it means the whole thing becomes sanctified. Okay, so what are we seeing here? That if someone pledges a part of the animal, according to one opinion, the whole animal becomes sanctified. If someone pledges, according to the other opinion, no, the whole animal doesn't become sanctified. Now the Gemara concludes, even according to that first opinion that says only the leg is holy, that's because you sanctified the leg, that the life isn't dependent on. But if the life is dependent on, the whole animal becomes sanctified. How could you say that we're dealing with this animal that's a sacrifice, that you're dealing with kachim mizbeach, and it doesn't become entirely sanctified? It should be entirely sanctified if you pledge the head. It says like kasha. Depends what we're saying. It depends if we're sanctifying the body or if we're sanctifying its value. The Gemara asks, "V'hamaru da'amar makdir zachal l'dam of kadosh kedush laguf." Mar, but the Gemara says, Rabbi, you said that even if you sanctify only its value, it becomes sanctified, the whole body. The Gemara says, like kasha hadaktish kula hadaktish chad eiver. It depends if you sanctified the whole body or if you sanctified one limb. So here, this is what's happening right here. If someone pledges the value of an animal to the temple, the whole animal, if someone pledges the value of this animal, the whole animal becomes sanctified as a sacrifice. Even if someone says part of this animal should be an Eily, should be sanctified as an Eily, then the whole animal becomes sanctified as well. But let's say someone does it in he divides those two options into two. So it's like this. He can pledge a limb of the animal, and he can pledge the value of the animal. Both of them will make the animal sanctified. Let's say he pledges the value of a limb. So now it's twice removed. So that is what we're saying over here, is that the sanctity doesn't spread over all the land. Let's stop right there.
Thank you, Rabbi. You see, when you mentioned the Tamar, the decal, whatever, the decal have couple issues. One of them, you have men and females. Some of them have men and females.